Hi, everybody. We're all smiling. You see, the gang's all here. You know, in my mind, there were two things happening at once. One was the spirit of Jim Donovan saying, "Gentlemen's opening." Okay, that was one thing that was going through my mind. The other thing that was going through my mind were the announcers for the game. I've never seen anybody spike a ball like Lamar Jackson. My God, I mean, have you ever seen anybody spike a ball like that? He's a god.
He's a Hall of
football
Famer.
god. He's a legend. He's going to win the MVP again.
They were caressing the balls while they stroked him, okay? It was pretty obvious.
Overrated. Overrated. Join me. Overrated. Unbelievable.
Cackling over here. It's like Halloween, man. I am just in permanent cackle mode.
We're all in cackle mode, and there's the most negative of all, David Talevsky going,
Where's Joe Shipley?
I don't know how he did this, Boo. I don't know how he did this. And it's like, I don't know either. Don't ask me. I do have some ideas, by the way.
We all have some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
they're all wrong, probably, but you know.
A big assist to the.
No, they're my ideas.
To the Baltimore Ravens, who.
I'm here now.
And it's like, uh-oh. It's fourth down. Bring in the play call.
Can we like do the Peter Alice play of the game straight away? Because we all know what it has to be.
It has to be
Kyle
Bateman losing, or Bateman
Kyle
losing the ball in the fucking sun.
Well,
No,
that would
Kyle
be one.
Hamilton.
The other one would be, how do you let anybody? Well, wait a minute. I wonder if
That'd
I
be
can.
Kyle. He's dead.
Yeah, go on,
Like
yeah.
Jim-
Oh
Jim
my God,
Donovan.
Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton.
That's for Aaron Rodgers. I thought he would like that. How could you let a man get behind you unless you were in prison? Oh, that was a big mistake by the Ravens. Cedric Tillman's the tallest receiver on the Browns, and they ran the panic defense that Jim Schwartz has popularized. Oh, God, no. That would be that. All right?
Yeah.
Yep. And you want to hear that anymore. That was horrifying, actually.
That's a bit spooky.
All right, so here's the deal.
Yeah,
And
what
I
is
see
it?
somebody else is coming in here now. Let me John Grassoff. We'll let John in here. Hi, John Grassoff.
He dressed today. No, he's not. He's
No.
He's not dressed or showered. So.
Dressed to kill. He's undressed. All right, so here's the thing. And again, I hinted at this on the halftime show. But if Jameis Winston makes that much of a difference, all right, then why was Kevin Stefanski playing Deshaun Watson? That's the first thing. Why wasn't Cedric Tillman playing if he's able to do this? That would be another question that would be fair to ask. You know, I think that it's just absolute malfeasance.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other thing. And if it was Haslam telling him to play Deshaun Watson, but then the other thought jumped in my head for the people who were in the chat room. It had nothing to do with Joe Flacco, you see?
Yeah.
Jameis Winston was Joe Flacco.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you'll cheer him the same way you cheer Joe Flacco.
Thank you.
Because what we have is a veteran quarterback who is able to see the field and make decisions and who has an arm that's strong enough to get it there.
And make decisions quickly. That's the other part.
Winston's better than Flacco.
And who the players can get behind. Did you hear his post-game or pre-game fucking huddle speech? Jesus Christ, I was ready to run through a brick wall.
Yeah, I mean, well, Jameis is famous
And I won't run. Look at
rhyme
the size
for
of
that. Yeah, he's famous for giving all credit to the Lord and stealing crab legs. But be that as it may,
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, well done. It's 425.
He's
The
forgiven.
first crab leg reference. We waited till 425. So I
There
was
you
about
go.
to.
That'd be an ass rape reference after that.
And there's Steven. We'll put Steven in here too. We got a bunch of people in here. Let's drop the Joe Flacco thing and just say that any good, strong-armed veteran quarterback, because Jameis Winston has a strong arm like Flacco and will throw the ball in traffic. He should have lost the game because the guy Hamilton missed the interception. Yeah, but you see, in the end, when you're playing in a system where you're throwing downfield, you have to accept certain mistakes. And that's what we were able to do with Flacco and able to do today with Jameis Winston. Any strong-armed quarterback who sees the field and is definitive. What I saw with Deshaun Watson is that he would go back to pass. He would wander. His eyes would wander. And he didn't have the arm strength to get the ball there. And I think now it's obvious that let Watson rot. Let him rot. Because if a guy 30 years old who hasn't started a game in 3 years or 2 years can get up and do this, and Watson couldn't after weeks of trying, then there's no question. Another thing, Stefanski should never call plays again. And it's like I tweeted during the game when he went over to talk to Jameis Winston. I said, "Get your fucking hands off him, Kevin. I don't want you breathing on him. You're COVID, man, as far as I'm concerned. Don't touch him. Don't give him suggestions, because everything that we normally do, the stupid fourth down plays weren't there. And when we needed short yardage, the quarterback actually looked for the short yardage receiver. And, we were down to no defense at the end of the game because, they haven't announced it, but we know Denzel Ward has brain damage again, and he can't play football anymore. And Delpit, not Delpit, I'm sorry, JOK.
He's dead.
With that, what my mother used to use a word called foofy, with that foofy helmet. That helmet isn't going to stop anybody from getting injuries like that.
Right.
This is a dangerous fucking game. And and he had the classic signs of a stinger, and you got to be very careful with that. And, another thing that I think is interesting, and I'm going to challenge Cleveland Browns fans now, is, who's going to be the first to call Mike Hall Jr. the assault guy? And that he should be in prison. Who's going to be the first? I'm just curious.
He made a heck of a play on that 1/3 down.
Yes, he did. But I'm saying
He damn near chased down Lamar. I mean,
he was hustling and trying hard. That's not my point,
dude.
My point is a guy who comes out and plays after being accused of something quite heinous.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear from Browns fans of why he should never be allowed to play football again.
Mm.
Oh, I know he wasn't thrown into jail. Nope. They plea bargained it down, him and the girlfriend, and that was that.
So
she
pardon me
probably
for being
settled for money too, so that her daughter, who was dragged on the ground, could end up with a better education, let's hope.
Pardon me for being naive, but I know nothing of what's the story behind this guy?
Just Google it.
Just Google it. We're not going to talk. Yeah. And I am being sarcastic, Brian. I'm not being serious. I'm being real sarcastic.
But you are serious about the fact that if you perform, no matter what team in the NFL, no matter what player, if you perform, it's like there's all this stuff over here and the performance over here, and all this goes away. And we start looking at
of course.
It's like a magic trick.
It's what have you done for me lately?
And here's the thing, Tori. Tori Graber's made a comment here. It's like, stay in your lane, Kevin. Yeah. Stay in your lane. You see, if you can delegate, and it's obvious to me, with the play calling, this is the same thing we ran into with Freddie Kitchens. Remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't very long ago that our offense was stale. It wasn't going anywhere. So they forced the play calling into the other guy. And a guy who lived at a double wide, for God's sakes, who would never coach again in the NFL. Here he was. He steps in, and he's picking the plays. He's like, I think I'll throw a dart at this one. And he's calling the plays, and we're scoring points, and we do way better. There is no reason for Stefanski to ever call plays again, and this is not coincidental. This is the first, and look, I've told everybody, I know Ken Dorsey. I've spoken with him on many occasions when he was my neighbor down in Florida, and he's a good guy. He's a solid offensive coordinator. There was no reason why he shouldn't have been calling the plays previous to this. And we weren't doing it with a 3 tight end set. Hello. No. There were some in running yardage situations, but we were utilizing 3 wide receivers. Elijah Moore caught the ball. Jerry Jeudy, when he knows where he's running to, catches the ball. And Tillman caught the ball. And Njoku caught the ball. So 3 and 1 tight end was working just fine. The middle of the field was open. Downfield was suddenly open. And, and no goofy, wild ass play calls. And
Elijah Moore actually started catching balls.
It's just amazing.
So did Jerry Jeudy.
So did Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. The thing that really makes me really pissed off about the beginning of this year. You know damn well if Stefanski were still calling the players, he would have gone short yardage to try to kick the 55-yard field goal or whatever it would have been, and it would have missed, and he would have gone, well, that's a play we got to make.
That's on me. That's on me.
Instead, we ran something with fucking balls, fucking balls. Wow. Balls, and
what did it have?
It had
balls. Okay, yeah. So, but the thing that amazed me was that they came with pressure because we're the Ravens, and you see, that's our image. Our image is to injure people and to pressure people into mistakes. And Jim Schwartz is in the corner going, "Excuse me. Pardon me, excuse me. I know what they're gonna do because that's what I do all the time. They're gonna send the kitchen sink at the quarterback. They're gonna be in single coverage. And if you throw the ball down the field to your biggest guy, he can go up and catch it." Yep. Well, right. There it was.
Hey, Lou.
Woot. There it was. Yeah.
Can I make some other observations in terms of the other games I've seen here?
No.
First of all, the Bengals are fucking done.
No, we don't want to hear it.
Go ahead.
The Bengals, they're fucking done. That's for sure.
Oh,
and all that talk about the Jets, they lost to the fucking Patriots.
Oh, fuck.
Wow, yeah.
Fuck everything from New York right now. That's really
Aaron Rodgers, that's why I was humming the Jeopardy tune. I mean, it's like he's got to find new work,
And Baker and the Bucs lost too.
Yeah, it's like, what is losing to the worst team in football?
Bing. Who are the New York Jets?
Who are the Ravens?
Unreal. Right? And then this, I do want to say this because I think it's important to say this.
Mr. Sandman.
Baker Mayfield, bum 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 bum. He lost again. Bum 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 bum. You'll blame his defense, like you always do. Bum 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 bum. I mean, he's 4-4, 500. That's his career. That's what he was last year when everyone said, "Oh, he's so great." And and then you had the announcers on TV. All right, I'll tell you, this Lamar Jackson guy, I mean, did you see? I saw him pissing into the latrine before the game. What accuracy! Incredible accuracy at him moving his feet. I haven't seen somebody moving his feet that precisely since Daniel Day-Lewis.
You should do the Al Michaels voice for that.
Right.
Do you believe in Lamar?
No.
My left foot.
Here's your Baker stat for the day. Baker threw 50 freaking passes.
But why do you think he got caught with that fucking nicotine patch thing? I mean, he's like,
Jameis threw 41 for that matter, but still.
He's wound. Baker was always overly wound up. He got the patch so he could wake up feeling dangerous. There my eyes. I can't close my eyes. Yeah, he's dangerous, all right.
Yeah.
Stefanski was tearing up in the postgame.
Huh?
Stefanski was tearing up in the postgame. He's going to give a game ball to Jim Donovan's family.
So
Nice.
there's a line in Apollo.
To read it. I knew it was coming, though.
There's a line in Apollo.
I knew it was too.
A line in Apollo 13 where the guy goes, where they save everybody and they put him in the lem, and the guy from Grumman or whatever goes, "How about that lem?" And the guy playing Gene Cernan goes, "Yeah, you get to keep your job."
Yeah.
That's what Kevin Stefanski's tearing up was today. How about them Browns? Yeah, Kevin, you get to keep your job another week. Mike Vrabel isn't just waiting there in the wings, but yeah.
Yeah, and Mr. B, play calling was never the main issue. Yes, it was a major issue. It really was.
It has been
because everything looked different today for a reason. So it is and was a big issue, but the offensive line being more coherent than it has been during the regular year definitely helped, and the protection held up. But again, the play calling really neutralized, and the offensive line together neutralized the pass rush. And even when they did sell out, Jameis had enough time to get the ball down the field.
Well, what helps matters is that the Ravens have equally the worst passing defense in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that held up.
Let's
today.
take advantage of that for a change, right? And I think the other thing was I felt when the day started and I saw the inactives and Jed Wills was on the list.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
The seal of approval.
The seal of approval.
It was like
Michael Hudson.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
And I think everybody realizes,
Probably.
Oh, Johnny. Okay. That was my Ed McMahon for the day.
To you young folks, he used to be a guy on TV.
Yeah,
I know
a
who
long
he is.
time ago, many moons ago. Like everything else I talk about. Doggy Bones. It's nice to not have to rely on one defensive player.
He didn't jump off sides today.
The
He
penalties.
almost lined up offsides on.
He
one
did
of
a few
those plays.
times. Yeah.
I'm like looking at it. I'm going, oh dear, please.
No, he's gonna pull his hands back. He pulled his hands back just in time.
Well, and then there's Andy Rooney. Andy Rooney would be something like this. Yeah, that's what this is going to be.
Well, it's not Mickey Rooney.
Why is it that little midget Newsom is even on the field? He gets trucked by anybody who runs him over. Not only that,
Why is it?
he lets men behind him. They target him in the end zone consistently.
If he lets men get behind him, I thought he lets them target him in the ass.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
You would think that somebody who knew as much about medicine as Aaron Rodgers would know that it was time to leave and go home. But, Tiger Woods hasn't figured that out either. But Father Time never loses. Never loses.
Wow.
And you knew the second he went to the Jets of all places, that Aaron Rodgers thought that he could literally, Aaron Rodgers is so conceited.
He thought he was the Messiah. Yeah. How conceited
is he?
He's so conceited. He probably thought he could have pulled Otis Redding out of the ocean by himself.
Yeah. Sitting on the dock of the bay. And he fell
All
over.
right. An old reference, but you'll look
That's
it up.
real. Can I make a comment here? Can we give Chubb another month off and let him rest? Why do we have to play him when he looks no better than Foreman and Pierre Strong at the moment?
Well, because there's a couple things. Having had certainly a lesser knee injury than he.
Yeah, he's not recovered.
I mean, to the recovery, part of it is mental. If everything is solid physically, but you haven't done something in a long time, what I saw from Chubb was when a design play went in a straight direction, he was able to at least be able to go through that, and he still had leg drive to push the pile forward. But what I saw was, when you get into a situation where you have to make that little quick footwork and plant, I'm sure that it's got to be in the back of his mind. Is this going to hold up? And I know from experience when I had many meniscectomies and then I had a total knee replacement. When I had a total knee replacement and 6 months of recovery, and I went out to hit tennis balls with a tennis pro, and it was like, well, I couldn't cover the court, and I was scared shitless because it's like this artificial thing was in my knee, and I didn't know how it was going to react. And the knee moves 4 directions, but this thing only goes, it's bi-directional. All right. Kind of like me, bi-directional.
Curly.
Hey. But when I got to playing, there was a point where I had to plant that leg. And when I planted it and it was solid, I realized, hey, I can do this. And I think that Nick Chubb is in that situation. He may never recover to be anywhere near what he was. But, they're not overusing him. And let's see if he
let's
can.
Not play him at all if we're only going to give him. How many rushes did he have? About 8?
Well,
14 carries, 52 yards.
14, okay.
Average, 3.5 or 3.8, something like that?
Yeah, well, that's what fucking Foreman and Pierre Strong give you. No,
you know something, Brian? You should consider stand-up comedy.
He tried it and failed miserably.
That's exactly right. I actually had cabbages and avocados thrown at me on stage. So
where do they get
rightfully so
vegetables from? Do they sell that at the
So
that was the thing that amazed me. I literally had to dodge a head of cabbage when I was doing my stand-up, and it's like, how in the fuck does that person sneak that in, for God's sake?
As a dude that had a cabbage for a head, I believe.
But what I said?
Whoa.
That's a reference.
I found
maybe he thought you ordered a tossed salad.
No, there's a better response that I gave. And so, great looking woman in the front row. This was not the kind of head I was expecting.
Wow.
So you have to think quickly on your feet. Dodging produce. That's why.
Dodging produce. That was my name of my high school band. It was Ziffles. Dodging produce.
Dodging produce. I remember that band. Yeah.
Junior high band. It was very short-lived. Cedric Tillman has been Cedric Tillman, young receiver. But boy, he got an opportunity. And again, who starts, who plays, head coach calls plays. If you call formations where all he does is block, you're never going to see what he can do.
Yeah.
But here he proved that he's the best option for a big wide receiver, the only one that we have. And these are the things that amaze me. It's who steps up and performs as opposed to who doesn't.
Who chokes.
And, the offensive line was all better. I mean, Dewan did,
He's a pussy.
He fucked up on the, on the fumble by Winston.
That was the only sack they gave up.
Huh?
That was the only sack they gave up.
Yep. And Dwan was just like head up his ass, like, you know. But besides that, there weren't the mistakes, you know.
And that the reason why was the release time was so much quicker. He was still looking downfield and got rid of the ball to somebody, right? He didn't just stand there looking around and all of a sudden traffic's coming in. He's forgotten all of his receivers. Now he's trying to jump. I mean, that's true. That third down pass where Kyle Hamilton had it in his hands, all pro, and you know, I think everybody was kind of like, "You got to be kidding me!" But
I mean, but looking at the Ravens, and I've been watching them all season. You know,
they suck.
They're really not special in any way whatsoever, and they're not going nowhere. All right, they're not.
They have the worst defense in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
very un-Ravens of them, wouldn't you say?
They got Todd fucking Monken calling their plays, for God's sakes. We should be able to do better.
They haven't had an offensive, play caller who, except they were running the football. And again, Henry is a guy who the Browns have a history of just, you have to flood the backfield. You really got to be on your toes to prevent him from getting up ahead of steam. He did once for 39 yards, but that was the only time he really crippled us.
Yeah. Jim Schwartz knows him better than anyone.
And I was going to say in the pregame, they were saying Derrick Henry has more yards rushing going into this game than 23 NFL teams have themselves.
But I'll tell you honestly, it should be Lamar Jackson running the ball on every play because he's a god. He's a goddess. He should change his name to Zeus. I'm serious. He's the.
Do you believe in miracles?
Don't forget the other hand to tickle the balls, okay?
Okay, there you
go. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we have to be complete. Believe me, Hammer, I've seen it often enough. He wasn't expecting them to actually do that.
I think we broke Hammer.
We've hit a new low.
We're gonna fucking give Hammer another fucking heart attack. What the hell are we doing
here? I'm giving him screen time, man. I'm giving him screen time. What can I tell you?
We've hit a new low on the program.
Yes, for things sometimes you're just not prepared to get them.
I am so glad I am further away from my surgery because I would have had to stop listening to the show.
There you go.
Because it hurt too much to
how
laugh.
Good a job your doctors did. You see?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, exactly. That's right, Doggy.
At Doggy Bones, that question in and of itself makes you wonder the incompetence of the Browns organization. Somebody had to know, and I guess Ken Dorsey knew because he called plays that engaged this player into a skill set that nobody else seemed to realize that he possessed. But sometimes it takes just somebody to give you a chance. We'll see as the weeks progress, but man, you can't ask for a bigger game out of nowhere. I mean, look at his numbers, for God's sakes.
Mark, for God's sake.
7 receptions, 99 yards. And 7 receptions out of 9 targets. So he wasn't dropping the ball. And look at all of them. Elijah Moore, 8 receptions and 12 targets. Jerry Jeudy, 5 and 8. Njoku, 5 and 7. It's amazing.
Winston's quarterback rating is like a quarterback should. He plays good.
Very good.
Like a quarterback should.
115
rating.
Screw this up completely.
Now
they had
the
5 and just snapped it over Gino's head.
Who did?
The Seahawks were about to go in and score and just snapped it over Gino's head by about 20 yards.
Nice.
Now, is this receiver success for the Browns more of the scheme, or is it more of they have a quarterback that actually can get the receivers the ball now?
You have to be able to see the receiver. I mean, we kept saying nobody's open, but the bottom line is there is
Lots of
somebody
people
open
couldn't see 'em.
if you know where the reads are and you can progress slowly or quickly, I should say, through your progressions.
Quickly.
Deshaun Watson is damaged goods in so many different ways. And I don't mean to kick a man when he's down. He's got a long, hard recovery. Yeah, that's what.
Hey, Moo.
Yeah.
Here's a question I can ask, and probably for you and for the rest of the panel: is this sustainable? That's the question we should ask.
It's what I think. Honestly, is this team? I thought would be 8-9 this year, and I didn't think that they would be going into this 1-6. I think that we would have won 2 other games for sure. And we would be 3-4. Is that or 3-5 or whatever? But is it sustainable with the injuries that we have on defense and with our offensive line constantly bleeding? I don't think this roster was built for sustainability. And I think the more we see people going down with injuries, the more we realize that the master plan was just not a good one.
Because here's what I add up to that.
Hi, Keith. I didn't see you, buddy.
Hey, guys. This is the best Sunday I've had in about 8 weeks, I guess.
Wow.
Well, I'm sorry. That's not a good thing. There should have been. If you're like me, and I'm just going to lay it all out there because we won. But I watch these games, but sometimes I do wander away from the screen, and what I did this morning is for the first time in 6 months, I rode my recumbent trike because it's down here. It's not in Ohio. And that cleared my head. And if worst comes to worst, and I would urge all Browns fans, except the ones who go to the stadium, all right, if you're at home and your things aren't going well, walk away for a few minutes and masturbate. You will feel much better quickly, and then you'll be able to attack this with renewed vigor.
Yeah, Harry Pluto already does it.
Two quick things here.
He doesn't. He could be winning and he'd be doing it.
Walk away, Renee. But yeah, you think you went a totally different. Yeah, we did one of these instead of one of those. So, yeah.
Harry does it at the stadium. What are you talking about? Probably in his booth up there, just backing it up in the corner.
Well,
so one thing I gotta say, I gotta clear up here. When you're sucking the dick and tickling the balls, that's called minding the stepchildren. And also, I've got my own Andy Rooney. Okay, I got a little Andy Rooney.
Oh, good.
Why do they call it taking a shit and not leaving a shit? After all, you're not taking it anywhere. All right, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, and that was about what the segment on 60 Minutes ended up as. What I wanted, and now a few minutes with Andy Rooney. And it got to the point where, his back should have been turned and he should have been beating off, and that was a few minutes, because that's all it was worth. I mean, it was like he never said anything that made any sense to me anyway. But that is man. Enough masturbation references for one program. And Aaron Rodgers is probably the GM of the Jets. Just like Deshaun Watson was with the Browns. I mean, people carrying too much heft because of their prior doings as opposed to what they're delivering now. So
Tom Brady is doing the color for this this game with the Bills and Seahawks. And on the play that they snapped it over Geno's head, his analysis was they shouldn't have snapped it over his head. That is freaking as hell.
He's trying to be too much like Tony Romo.
I think this guy knows. I think this guy knows his football. I am impressed.
No, color commentary is a lost art. It's either, oh my God, Lamar Jackson, I cannot believe this guy. This guy could play hopscotch with one foot. He is just godlike. Or it ends up like deer in the headlights. Like ball gets snapped 20 yards over the head of the quarterback, and the color commentary guy, it's his moment, and he goes, yeah, and that's it. That's what we end up with.
Or it's my knee. If I had decent knees, I'd be playing better.
It's like, this guy's got a warrant out in 3 states. What do you say, Monty?
Richard,
Doesn't say that here.
Somehow I believe that the spirit of Jim Donovan, oh, wait a minute. I have to do this.
Oh, God. Are you going to do the guy?
Ow, it's a brick house. He's mighty.
Just letting it all hang out.
There you go.
That's another brick in the wall.
We don't need no Kevin Stefanski. We don't need no D. Haslam.
Yeah. Oh, man.
No Mary Kay. Thought control.
What are you talking about? Watson would have thrown underneath.
Yeah, it would have been intercepted. There's no question.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's funny you bring up Mary Kay. It's funny you bring up Mary Kay. She's a Watson mouthpiece now because she's actively trying to pursue him being back on the team next year.
Wow.
Oh, that's foolishness. And it's anything to get attention. There was a day when her nipples could get attention, but now it's like fire in a crowded theater. It's foolishness.
Last century.
Quick update on the Bills Seahawks. Yes. Josh Allen just got picked off, and they ran the ball back to inside the 5.
Wow.
So,
that's the first interception he's thrown all year.
Yeah. That's why I said it's a big deal. So,
yep.
All I saw was the interception. I didn't see why it happened. He just jumped the route. He kind of was trying to throw the ball with a receiver coming from the sideline coming in, like a square in, and he just kind of threw it out a little far, led him a little too much.
So Keith, you've got a little boom arm like I do. I got a little boom arm like this, and what's the story? I mean, that's pretty good. You got a little audio set up there?
Yeah. It's just a little a toner mic. I think it cost me like $50. My friends and I used to do a podcast a few years ago, so it's left over from that. So I use it.
Oh, that's outstanding, because usually you don't see. I knew there had to be podcasting in your history. I knew that. What were you podcasting at the time?
We did a lot of politics stuff. News stories, covered news, and commented. We mostly just made fun of it, and that was kind of our shtick.
When I started out, I decided it was one of two things: either were to be politics or sports, and I thought, sports is better, because I know something about it. So, the political thing is just all, whatever. And boy, I'm glad I didn't, because I would have had my house firebombed by now. That would have been not such a good environment for that. And that is interesting, Doggy Bones. You don't know game to game. Literally, Chubb is game to game, week to week. You just don't know.
Yeah. I've got a suggestion. Your Jimmy Haslam impersonation where you go, woohoo!
Yes.
Can you change that? Because his real name is actually James Haslam III, billionaire.
Is that true?
Billionaire. James Haslam III, billionaire. It's on his business card.
When he was a trucking guy, he was, woo! I'm Jimmy! Woo!
Now he's James Haslam.
Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Woo! Yeah, he's always Jimmy. He's an illiterate guy, man. He's a dummy.
Did James Haslam III get stranded on a desert island at one time?
Yeah, he was on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, you know what I say?
Professor.
No dome and bury his ass in Brook Park. That's what I say.
He's just toxic waste generally. So he belongs in Brook Park. Yeah.
A little bit of news coming out of the presser. Denzel Ward has his 6th concussion of his career.
Has a head injury. They're not saying yet if it's a concussion. They're saying a head injury.
Stefanski says Ward has a concussion.
Done.
Second of the year, 6th of his career.
No, wait a minute. Let me go back into the program. No, this is not sustainable.
No. No.
God
Play the
almighty.
Chargers next week, though. God damn it.
And this is a great
You're
comment.
saying another shitty team is what you're saying.
Yeah, another shitty team, just like us.
This is a great comment. Smart move by Kevin to let Dorsey call the plays.
Yeah, it was all his idea. It was all Kev's idea.
Yeah, I wonder if he stands up there, if Stefanski at the presser stands up there and says, "You see, I was right about this one, folks." I doubt it.
The only thing he's allowed to
It's
do
gonna be
is
two shitty teams in a row.
yeah. The only thing he's allowed to do is call a timeout every once in a while.
So Gino now tripped on one of his offensive linemen coming out of the huddle on 3rd and goal, and he's going to kick somebody's ass. I'm thinking.
Who did?
This is an awful game.
Gino Smith. It's raining in Seattle, 15-mile-an-hour wind, and no one can. And my dog is pissed about it. Clearly,
Obviously, a Seahawks fan. So I came in late. Did you guys talk about JOK and what happened to him at all?
He's not okay.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
The thing that I thought first was that helmet. I mean, it is so stupid to think that we're just going to add some pressurized foam into a helmet and that's going to protect these guys from the dangerous thing that they're doing. But I would, when I see guys, because when he went down and he looked like he was kind of stiff, that is a stinger. And if you looked at how his head was down, it drove his neck. That's likely a stinger, but there's going to be precautions in place.
Yeah, you don't want to move that vertebrae.
Yeah, that looked pretty gross. I'm not going to lie. What's going on there?
Be very, very quiet. He's sleeping. Be very quiet.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh my God,
there's a hurricane going through Sarasota, for God's sakes.
Wake up!
And he's we are so immature here.
This is why you don't put your camera on this program.
I want to apologize, but you know something? Nah. We won. You know, all my bad behavior can be excused.
I'm fine with it. I did. I conked out there for a minute.
That's good.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. I'm old.
Yeah, we'll never know what the combination of Ken Dorsey and Deshaun Watson would have ended up yielding. We'll never know that, but
thank God.
You could just, you know what it was like when last year when Flacco came in.
Yeah,
flicking his wrist and the ball would just like materialize in the gut of his player that he threw it to his receiver. The ball was getting there so much faster, and same thing today. I mean, the out patterns were crisp. There were a number of out patterns that were to Elijah Moore and to Jerry Jeudy that kept them in stride and allowed them to get some extra yardage. Arm strength makes a huge difference in this, and that shoulder injury, which I think was underplayed by the Browns organization, by Deshaun Watson and everybody, is the real determinant of his eventual fate. I just don't think that he could throw the ball outside of the numbers in a commanding way like he used to. And you saw how in the final drive, how Jameis Winston used the sideline and the quick out to get into a position and to catch them in an all-out blitz. That's, that's, I guess, the way I look.
And plus the accusation that our receivers don't get open no separation.
Right.
I saw separation all day.
Well, it's because he wasn't, going back for 5.5, 6 seconds. They were getting the ball out a lot quicker.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I'll be honest, the reason Lamar Jackson will never be, in my mind, the great quarterback they want him to be.
Not a great passer.
Yeah, but he holds on to the ball for a long period of time, and that forces for a guy like Andrews, it's a great thing because he can freelance and find that open space. But for a lot of wide receivers, they just kind of end up roaming around and they become secondary, and they all are standing back there watching Lamar. That final play was a really good example. The final couple of plays where he was just buying time, but he ran time off the clock. I mean, a smarter quarterback would have thrown a ball out of bounds if there was nothing and taken it from the top. But, he ran off a bunch of important seconds off the clock to run that clock down to 14 seconds. And that put them in a position where he had to throw end zone or nowhere or sideline, but no real time if he threw the ball in the middle of the field. So, I think everybody was blasting Stefanski. You don't bring in an offensive coordinator and just, render him powerless. You don't do that. It's not good. It shows that Kevin didn't learn anything about delegation from the last guy he had, and he never gave Alex Van Pelt a chance.
I still question if it was even him who brought Ken Dorsey in the first place.
If what was?
Bringing in Ken Dorsey. I still question if that was even Kevin's decision to begin with. Because I think that was Jimmy. Because reports were out there.
But why weren't they allowing him to call plays? Why would they accept that bullshit from Stefanski? It's my decision to make and all this, and make that decision when it clearly was self-serving and somebody who egotistically could not acknowledge that his play calling skills. I think Stefanski's greatest strength is to get players to buy in. All right. Which is something that is important when you're a head coach. Ask Hugh Jackson, who
Well, I would be. He's got to look at the tape.
Yeah.
Well, I think after this game, I think he can get them to buy in on something.
No, I think Winston is a better quarterback. Didn't matter who called the plays. Winston is a better quarterback.
Well,
I can see that.
They said the same thing about Flacco. And again, Corey's saying that he hopes Winston's our quarterback starter next year. Well, let's be honest about this. If Jameis, it's no different than Flacco. Flacco made sure that he hit the open market when he showed that he could do some stuff. And Winston will do the same thing. He's 30 years old. He's got to make hay while the sun shines.
Haslam's not going to pay Winston to be on the team next year. Surely that's the case. I mean, it ain't going to happen.
And Kurt, you're absolutely right. That's a hard thing to believe, but Winston is only 1.5 years older than Baker Mayfield. So, it
was a 5-year player basically. So redshirted and played 4 years, which is kind of not the norm for NFL players. The only bad part about this is, and I don't know that that's going to happen, is we're going to have to struggle to catch up to the Panthers and Titans for the Cam Ward sweepstakes at this point. So,
something.
We can do it. I have total faith.
We can do it.
There's a crossroads where fans lose interest. And I was seeing people posting that the Muni lot was just not active before the game. And I didn't see what the crowd was like, but the fact that we were in the game instead of out of it from the opening kickoff like we were the week before, I think that it's the crowd was cheering them on, but I never saw a wide pan angle of how many people were
they
actually
avoided showing a wide pan angle. I thought they showed some great photos of the arcade and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Mapleside. If you've ever been to Mapleside in your life, which is like a white person's dream to go to, I mean, there were some great photos, but no photos of the crowd whatsoever.
Yeah, it's interesting, but
here's the thing: when it comes to next year's quarterbacks, I would much rather go after Arch Manning in 2 years.
Well, I think Jameis probably isn't the answer, but at least like you guys were saying, when we came out on offense, you actually thought there was a hope and a prayer that they could actually score some points, gain some yards, convert some third downs, and we haven't had that. And so that, I think, was the big difference, and that's why the fans were into it.
I think we actually had more first downs than the Ravens.
I think you're right.
I could check that.
Fans actually, I thought it was 22 and 22, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
the stats were almost like across the board, ridiculously even. It was just like
up 22-22, and penalties 7 and 7.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy how
time of possession.
It was a game where the last team that got the ball pretty much was going to win, or the last team to score was. It was,
we outgained them yardage wise, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
320, or let's see, total yardage
401 to 387.
Yeah. So what? 14 yards.
Yep.
Woohoo! This is exactly. The stats are a microcosm of exactly what happened during the game. It was back and forth, and each team getting a chance to do it. Yards per play, 6.2 for the Ravens, 6.1 for the Browns.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write an artificial intelligence song, and the name of the song is going to be Joe Shipley Eat a Dick.
Where is he? Where is he? Has he died?
He's always invisible. His team.
I think their Super Bowl dreams have died today.
Super Bowl for them. I think that his MVP should have died today, losing to the Browns. This is the name I don't want to see on this program. Please make that stop.
But that actually was a great stat, how many potential interceptions there were. But you know what? They didn't.
They didn't
catch him. Yeah.
They dropped them. They choked.
Which is very unlikely. But I guess, like you said, it's that team has been playing crappy again for defensively all year. So it kind of makes sense. But we should have done that against the Bengals last week, except for what was going on.
So does this mean that the Steelers are going to win the AFC North?
God, I hope not.
I think eventually they're going to see what Russell Wilson is. I mean, on the one hand, they say, "Oh, he had a good game and he's back," but he's 35 years old and he's dinged up, and they're looking for a miracle in Pittsburgh. But you can imagine how badly they feel about Justin Fields if they just let Russell Wilson walk in and start. There was no resistance, and even Justin Fields said, "I'm going to have to play better."
Look at the tape,
But yeah.
I got to look at the tape. I got to battle more.
I don't. But Pittsburgh is not in a great place quarterback wise. The Ravens.
Well, the only reason why Wilson is starting is because Tomlin made a promise to him when he signed.
That may be. Yeah. I mean. But what I can say is this: the conference, the division that was supposed to be the great North
is the worst.
It's in the NFC now.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened here, but
we've all gotten old.
It isn't good. I mean, the Bengals. They're going to fire the coach for sure. Which I was telling them to do in the last couple of years. It was only a matter until that guy dragged him down. He's not a good coach. But I think the Joe Burrow situation with his wrist is an interesting thing to follow because that's a funny little joint, you know? And you could see him last week. He was warming up and he was shaking it every time he threw a ball. And their defense has caved. And the Bengals shouldn't be as bad as they are. Had Jameis Winston been playing last week, we'd have beaten the Bengals.
We should have.
100%.
Yeah.
So they're really not that good.
So, was there any more background on why Winston had been demoted to third string and DTR moved up to second?
Because
everything.
I do know why. They had a package of plays that were designed for DTR. That's the main reason.
I got a package for DTR.
They should have returned those to the sender.
Package right here.
Oh my God! Look who's in the chat room. El Presidente is back.
Oh, the man, the myth, the legend. I better catch up here. El Presidente. Where is he? I don't see him.
Roberto El Presidente, 4:14 p.m.
Oh, at 4:14?
Yeah.
Well, why in the hell are you going backwards in time, Tony?
Well, I mean,
there's El Presidente. Hey, how you doing? Woohoo! I like, shout outs to the viewers, I have so few of them. I cherish the few that I have,
A quick score update. The next two teams on our schedule are playing each other, the Saints and the Chargers. Chargers are up 3-2.
And they're playing with each other.
Is it what inning is it?
Good question.
Yeah, well, Roberto.
3 runs on 4 hits.
Yeah, my screened-in lanai is wrecked, and so I'm trying to find somebody to repair it. The hurricane nailed this area pretty bad. We were fortunate; no structural damage to the house, fortunately. So,
how's Dickie V doing? Is he all right? Is his house okay?
Let me tell you something. It was built in a way, baby, that the strongest wind would never blow it down. The big bad wolf would have gotten the shit kicked out of him with my house. My walk-in closet is bigger than Keith's great room, and that's a fact, baby.
It's true.
Your lanai's a real diaper dandy.
From Dickie V. But I'm not here for half a year, so I don't get around like I used to down here.
Hey, Moo, what are you, about 5 minutes from where he lives?
Yeah. I mean, I was actually over at Dickie's house, and I got lost inside the house.
It's so big.
I was going to say you were over at Dickie's house until the cops came. Is that what you're...
Oh, that's Diddy's house. He was over at Diddy's house.
Asshole. I don't know who the hell he is.
There's some guy outside.
Last I thought I
he's
saw
riding a recumbent trike.
Well, last I thought I saw poor Dickie V, the cancer got him so bad it took his voice.
Oh,
I don't know,
baby.
And I would never,
that sucks.
Got one of those.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I would never,
No, we love.
I never
Dickie
ask
V.
questions
We love Dickie
because
V.
I'm always afraid of the answers. I don't ask anymore.
Oh,
So many people my age now are, I mean, Jim Donovan is a year older.
Well, your age,
than I.
yeah, well, year older.
how did we
So,
not
I
get
mean,
a flag
it ain't
on
funny.
that? Josh Allen just got hit helmet to helmet, and they're what the heck?
Well,
Oh
why
my
is
God.
it? Why is it that
Procedure.
Sam
Okay, there we go.
Darnold?
Personal foul. There we go. Yeah,
Why did Sam Darnold get a face mask called, Tony? What happened on that?
Fuck. No. I mean, granted, they weren't going to win the game regardless, but that was
Because they were playing a bigger market team.
It was probably the worst call I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, this Buffalo-Seattle game's crazy. I just saw a few minutes ago Josh Allen kicked a 12-yard pass to his running back.
Hi, Nick.
Oh, it's no pass.
Was a drop.
Here comes Rocks.
Hubba.
Rocks.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
Browns won.
Woo-hoo! She knew it. She knew they were going to win.
Start singing Titanium Rocks.
Oh, no, they want to hear Titanium, Rocks. Oh, that brought her back.
They shoot me
Here we go.
down.
Huzzah.
Wait, I'm gonna get
When I
out of
get
the
up.
way. Get out of the way. Here you go. You want over here?
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away. Ricochet, you take your aim. Far away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am Titan. It's even worse than usual.
Wow.
I am Titan. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am Titan.
Boy.
Wow.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for that.
Randy Jackson would have been proud of that. He was the best
Wow,
dog.
dog.
I saw 3 chair turns right there. They're
That's the first time she's been on the program in a long time, and that's what she's famous for, is singing Titanium. Kind of. Yeah.
touchdown
We-
Bills. Wow.
Oh,
They're fighting
is
on
this
the Seattle
true?
sidelines.
What?
His
Liam
wife
Neeson is dating Pam Anderson?
Come on, coming from Kurt the Squirt.
Is this true? I'll tell you, Pam had better not take up skiing.
Better not go missing, God damn it.
One day
To be
ago,
hunted
Fox,
down.
Fox News reported
Hey, CO Dead, are you referring to The Voice?
Ah,
Oh.
one day ago, Fox News reported
Come
that
on.
Liam Neeson is, quote, madly in love with her.
Who said this?
Fox News.
Fox
So it must be
News.
true.
Liam
Must be
Neeson
true.
confessed he's madly in love with co-star Pam Anderson.
Well, we've
There
all
you
seen
go.
the video. I mean, she does have a very particular set of skills.
I don't know if she still does, but she did at one time.
Yeah, that was
He admitted
back.
he was head over heels for his Naked Gun co-star.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
He's
She's
also
terrific.
planning on retiring next year, more than likely.
You know, dude is 72 and kicks ass. I'm impressed.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Stallone in Tulsa King is a badass too. So, and he's even
and-
older.
you know what
I
the
think
problem
Robert De
is?
Niro.
Pam Anderson probably doesn't even know this, but you know what? She's afraid that he knows where I live.
He knows where I live, yes.
He'd be the ultimate stalker. I know you're in there. I know you're in there. Yeah.
Well, it's still
Coop,
3-2.
This is a good question, Brian Mathis. Yeah, you see, there you have it. Tillman's fresh legs got open, got deep. I think Cooper is a wonderful receiver. Give him a chance to play out his career in a better situation. That's great. But giving younger players a chance to prove themselves rather than playing slightly shop-worn veterans, sometimes you got to start building your roster and determine who should be playing. And that's kind of how I see this. So I'm happy for Coop. I'm happy for Tillman. Happy for Jameis Winston. Yeah.
How about those 3-0 Cavs?
Yeah. George Niang. Niang.
He still eats too much.
Yeah.
Yang, 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 yang.
Hey, Keith, say your farewells. Keith, you're gonna get a full screen shot here. He's getting ready to take off.
Take off, man.
Yeah, guys, I gotta go. I hope you have a great night. Thanks, Moo, for the show, and it was a fun game.
Hey, Keith, thanks for coming by. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all the viewers of the program.
Adios, guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
So, yeah, and I'm not even going to put that comment up. I mean, different people like different kinds of announcers, and Jim Donovan was pure energy. Okay, pure energy. Yeah, that's what he was. So, sometimes the best thing is when they had the camera just on him and Doug Deacon in the booth, and Doug Deacon, as he got older, would like look at him like. It was really interesting. It was an interesting chemistry, and Donovan would just be yelling, and Deacon's like,
my knee.
And you know how you see how these announcers are seated, or they're in some kind of like a bar stool kind of thing, right? But Donovan never sat down. He was always moving in that booth. It was just like, and when things happen, it was like he was a part of the play. You could feel his energy. So it was just, and when they finally beat the Jets to break the streak and open up those wonderful Bud Light fridges, just, the elation. And then, when they made the playoffs and beat the Steelers, and, it's just any of those times like that, just that whole feeling. I'm listening to it on the way coming home this morning from where I was, and I was tearing up. I'll be honest, I was absolutely tearing up, and also Nathan Segura was as well. You could hear him on the broadcast this morning after they did the in stadium presentation for Jim Donovan. He was tearing up as well. He was definitely choked up.
Yeah, so, it's a difficult thing, and I have an appreciation for broadcasters. I also have an appreciation for broad chasers, but the broadcasters are important to me just because I've been around so many and have seen really talented people, and maybe they don't get the attention that movie stars get, but in their home communities, I mean, you know what the ultimate example would be? A guy like Vin Scully, because he happened to be in Los Angeles, a big city, and he, for so long, was the voice of the Dodgers that everybody just in that area just related to him. And we've really been fortunate in Cleveland. We had Joe Tate for the Cavaliers, who was a wondrous. He could convert a game in your head on the radio, man. He gave you a picture of the game.
And by himself. That was the other part of it. He worked by himself and did that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Richard's bringing up, Gib Shanley and Nev Chandler. I go back to before I was ever even in broadcasting. I was listening to Browns games back in 65, 66 when I was a child. Ken Coleman. That was another one. Yeah. I mean,
Casey did for right after Nev passed away until the team left. So Casey Coleman had him for a little while.
Now, Casey Kasem, that would be altogether different. Now, that was one hell of a pass. I saw Jameis Winston throw that ball over the defender's head, and by golly, Cedric Tillman was there.
And this interception goes out to a little couple from Tennessee.
Oh, God. Well, we're all in a good mood because we won, and everybody's excited about this, and it's great. And I'll be back tomorrow for a follow-up Monday show. Will be a big game tomorrow for the Cavaliers. I guess they're playing the New York Knicks, so that's going to be a challenge. Cavs are 3-0, off to a good start, and we'll be talking more Cavaliers tomorrow as well. Thanks, John. Thank you, David.
Gotta have a request.
Thank you, Hammer Time. Thank you, Moose. Thank you, Tony. What was that, bro?
Gotta have a request. John Madden illustrating the touchdown pass to Cedric Tillman. Boom.
No, it would be something like with the telestrator. And you can see here that everybody's just rushing toward Jameis Winston. There's nobody covering anybody back there. That would be the simplest illustration. It's like kitchen sink. Boom. They're all here. They're all around there. And unfortunately for the absolute, they thought they could just get to the quarterback at all costs.
They did.
And the beautiful part is that Cedric Tillman got to the spot that he needed to get to. and caught it with his hands, big man hands, and galloped in.
Big man hands. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is interesting.
They'll have to burn sage before they start playing.
The last thing I'll say on the program to Richard is the Republican Party are like lemmings and they're following Trump right off a fucking cliff. He'll be the next president, but you'll see. You'll see at the end of 4 years when he's 82 years old, I will spare nothing to insult his age. I'll have the most disgusting approach about ageism that you know, the likes of which he has never seen. Thank you.
Well, there you go.
Well, that'll be us tomorrow too. Every one of us.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me. You know, we got in Columbus here, we got the Blue Jackets actually playing well with a real coach that wasn't like the third choice. Wow. And they're kind of playing with the Johnny Gaudreau, you know, kind of the you know, after him.
Feel good.
Yeah, it's kind of like that emotional or whatever. But it's kind of crazy. It's just like, and then everybody in here with Ohio State and Columbus, it's like they only won 21. It's like, oh my gosh, they really suck. It's just they won. Just take the W and go home. You know, it just, geez. In the mood in the stadium, I mean, you could hear it on TV and you could hear it on the radio. And Cleveland Stadium was so loud, and I just texted a buddy of mine who was at the game. He was just like, he said it was electric. It was just like, oh my gosh, we have a team again, and they have uniforms and everything. So
yeah, look at this guy trying to bait me in the chat room. No.
Joe Shipley, where are you?
No,
it's Joe Shipley.
No. I know when somebody's baiting a hook, and the answer is no. You'll never get in. Never. Never, 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 never gonna get in. Never, never, never.
Fucking Chargers.
Never gonna get in the show.
I don't know why anybody would want to get on this show that badly.
No.
That's really, you know.
No.
So at
I
any
have no
rate,
life.
I got to get out of here.
Young.
Because...
I mean, why do you not have a life? You're actually young. We're all old farts, except for Tony DeCalf, who was born old. When he came out of the womb, Tony DeCalf was still 35. You know, but anyway, all the rest of you, you know.
But I got to get out of here, seriously. But I really appreciate everybody joining the show, and we'll be back again tomorrow. So we'll run this back. So everybody invited to come back.
Are you having a hog roast tonight?
All right, everybody. Great win. Great win. Any win for the Browns is a great win. I'm thrilled, and I'm done. Take care and have yourselves a good rest of the weekend, what's left, and a good week next week. If you don't get to join me on Monday, I understand. Until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.